Imagine this. You're standing in front of an old, dusty mirror in a dimly lit room, the kind that creaks with forgotten secrets. And as you gaze into your reflection, you notice something odd, not the familiar lines of exhaustion on your face, but a faint shadow behind your eyes, whispering a name you've long ignored. What if that shadow isn't a stranger, but the part of you that's been waiting all this time? Stick with me, friend, because by the time we're done here, you'll see why Dr. Samuel Hayes, that brilliant thinker from the heart of America, taught that your undisciplined side isn't just slacking off. It's a lost piece of your soul, crying out to be welcomed back. We rarely pause to consider the quiet agony of watching yourself shatter the same promises day after day, like fragile glass underfoot. Picture it. You whisper to yourself in the dead of night, "Tomorrow's the day I'll turn it all around." But deep down, you sense that tomorrow is just another echo, a ghost that never materializes. You catch a glimpse of yourself in the bathroom mirror on your way to bed, and there's this unfamiliar bitterness staring back. Not hatred, oh no, but a deep-seated distrust. You've promised change so many times, felt that spark of conviction light up for a fleeting moment, maybe even a whole evening. But come dawn, the person who made that solemn vow has vanished, replaced by the same weary soul, thumb flicking through endless feeds, dodging responsibilities, burrowing deeper into old habits. Dr. Hayes put it so poignantly. Folks will go to any lengths, no matter how wild, to dodge confronting their true essence. What if your habit of sidestepping discipline is precisely that, a profound dismissal of the person you're destined to become? That's our starting point, my friend, because I'm about to reveal something that might just shift everything. Consider this idea. What if the version of you that sometimes feels less focused or energized isn't your true self? What if it's simply a familiar pattern you've adopted, like a routine you've grown accustomed to? If this thought sparks your interest or curiosity, then let's explore the depths of self-discovery together. Perhaps you've learned to associate discipline with intense willpower, requiring consistent effort to achieve goals. However, that perspective might be a common misconception that has limited many. True discipline isn't about imposing your will. It's about realizing your innate capabilities. You can fully embrace discipline when you shift from viewing it as an external goal to recognizing it as an integral part of your being. This concept might seem new initially, but stay with me, because once this understanding settles in, your daily beginnings will unfold with much greater ease and positive flow. You see, Dr. Hayes argued that most people never fully step into their authentic selves, not from lack of trying, but because they've become aliens to their own hidden strengths. They hunt for transformation in all the wrong places. A fresh career path, a change of scenery, some fancy productivity app, or even an inspiring clip that pumps you up for a day. But here's the raw truth. You don't need to pile on more stuff. What you need is to strip away the excess, the constant escapes, the overwhelming distractions, the endless ways you've been avoiding the one thing that scares you most. And that thing? It's accountability. Not to your job, your family, or anyone else, but to your own evolution. It's that holy agreement between the you of right now and the you that's meant to rise up. That's where real discipline takes root, not in to-do lists or blaring alarm clocks at the crack of dawn, but in a profound commitment, like a vow you make to your deepest self. Let your mind wander back for a moment. When have you felt the most vibrantly alive? It wasn't lounging on a beach or binge-watching your favorite show, was it? No, it was in those rare instances when everything clicked, when you honored your commitments, when you pushed through and amazed even yourself by achieving what once seemed impossible. That rush wasn't mere ego. It was wholeness, a sense of being fully aligned. Dr. Hayes would nod and say that's no accident. Our inner world craves harmony. It yearns to weave all parts together. The more you splinter yourself, promising one thing while doing the opposite, the more your deeper mind pushes back. That resistance you feel? It's not laziness. It's your psyche calling out the inconsistency, rejecting the mask you've been wearing. So many overlook this. A lack of discipline isn't the root problem. It's a sign of something deeper, a fracture in your very essence. You've been torn in two. One side dreaming big and setting intentions, the other dismantling them piece by piece. One part eager to create and grow, the other desperate to fade into the background. Day in and day out, you loop through this. And it's not just squandering hours. It's widening that inner divide, carving it deeper into your spirit. Dr. Hayes warned us about this dynamic. He said that whatever you push away doesn't vanish. It lingers, growing stronger in the shadows. Those neglected aspects of yourself, the disciplined, driven, unyielding force you've sidelined out of dread, don't wither. They transform into your hidden side, not just the flaws or wounds, but the mighty builder, the fierce protector, the structured powerhouse you've imprisoned because you're terrified of stumbling, or worse, of unleashing your full might. Yes, your own power. That's the real fear, isn't it? Because if you truly dedicate yourself, if discipline becomes your way of life, there's no more scapegoats, no hiding behind what ifs or untapped potential. You'd have to step up and embody it all. And that's a heart-pounding prospect. Once you're living proof, there's no turning back. You're either ascending or withering away. And the eyes of the world might just be on you. But let's be brutally honest. You're already fading, bit by bit. Each time you ignore your own plans, ditch your goals for quick fixes, hit that snooze button, or lose yourself in mindless scrolling instead of earning that hard-won self-respect, it's chipping away at you. That exhaustion isn't from your daily grind. It's from the gnawing remorse, the inner knowing that this isn't the life you were built for. Listen closely now. Let this sink into your very core. Discipline isn't an extra layer you slap onto your routine. It's the guardian of your spirit, shielding you from the rot of unfulfilled dreams, from a lifetime of what could have beens, from turning into someone who has the world at his feet, but has lost touch with his own heart. If something in this is resonating, hitting you right in the chest, why not share it in your thoughts? You never know. You might light a spark for someone else who's still wrestling with the shadows you've begun to face. And here's something vital to hold on to. There was a season in your life when you craved this path fiercely, before the world piled on its distractions, before weariness dulled your edges, before doubt crept in and made you question your worth. But that fire in your spirit, it hasn't flickered out. It's been there, patient and steady, awaiting your return to the hearth where your discipline was first kindled. We'll have to journey back there together, reignite it. But first, we need to unearth the origins, the why behind your resistance to order, and how Dr. Hayes's insights into our inner archetypes expose the concealed forces undermining your every step. This isn't some fleeting pep talk. It's a profound shift, a metamorphosis. Once you grasp it, there's no going back to the old you. Your undisciplined ways didn't spring up overnight. They were forged through countless tiny treacheries, some from the outside world, others self-inflicted. Over time, you absorbed a narrative. You're the guy who almost makes it, who teeters on the brink of change, but never quite leaps. The one brimming with promise that forever stays just out of reach. But that tale, it's not your truth. It's a shield, hammered out from fears of rejection, from feelings of being left behind, from those subtle scars that no one else ever saw. Now, decades later, that shield has fused to you, becoming who you think you are. Dr. Hayes put it this way: until you bring the hidden to light. It will steer your path, and you'll mistake it for destiny. So, let's shine that light. Let's travel back, not to wallow, but to comprehend. Can you recall the first instance when your budding discipline was crushed? Perhaps as a kid, you mustered the courage to voice an idea, only to be shut down harshly. Or you poured your heart into a project, beaming with pride, just to have it dismissed or ridiculed. That's the cracks beginning, not from idleness, but from heartache. And the cruel twist, the part of you that craves routine, mastery, and focus, is also the most fragile. Because true discipline demands trust in your own capabilities. When that trust is shattered young, that disciplined essence retreats into the depths. This is what Dr. Hayes described as suppressing the heroic inner figures, the leader, the fighter, the master planner who imposes order and commands respect. That facet of your mind, eager to construct legacies, to guide your days with purpose, to harness every ounce of your energy. It's still alive, but warped by repeated defeats. Instead of commanding the stage, it hides in the wings. So when you launch into a new endeavor, a fresh exercise regimen, an early rise, a healthier way of eating, a burst of productive work, you're not beginning from scratch. You're facing off against every phantom voice that ever whispered, "You'll quit halfway." You're not built for this. Change isn't in your cards. Without recognizing this, you'll keep tripping yourself up, not out of desire for failure, but because a wounded part of you believes it's inevitable. Here's the gem Dr. Hayes gifted us. Your visible stumbles aren't usually about how hard you try. They're tied to who you believe yourself to be. No amount of hustle can overcome an inner picture that clashes with your aspirations. You'll always snap back to the identity you've accepted, regardless of gadgets or strategies. So, how do we reshape that core belief? Not with empty positive chants or pumped-up enthusiasm, but through unification, blending those divided pieces. Let's paint a picture to make it real. Envision two figures dwelling within you. One is the embodiment of strength, legacy, and poise, the steady captain who honors his commitments, even in solitude. He's composed, deliberate, ruling his domain with quiet authority. The other seeks softness, safety, invisibility. He shuns challenges, dodges the spotlight, prefers cozy retreats over triumphs. These aren't foes. They're fragmented echoes of you. As long as you wage war on one, wholeness eludes you. It's time to cease battling the lazy side. Instead, invite him in. Have a heartfelt chat. Ask gently, "What pain are you shielding me from?" because, believe me, that part isn't sabotaging you on purpose. It's guarding against the echoes of past hurts, the bite of letdown, the sting of mockery, the ache of being overlooked or left alone. When you start viewing it this way, discipline transforms into something holy. No longer a brutal conflict, but a homecoming, a reclaiming of your rightful place, the center where that leader within observes, patient, ready not to conquer, but to bring balance. Dr. Hayes taught that every person must eventually confront their inner sovereign. And when you do, the need for showmanship fades. You stop seeking approval from the crowd. You start shaping your world not to dazzle others, but to mirror the restored harmony inside. That's discipline's essence. It's the blueprint of your mind made manifest in the world. When it's absent, you don't just falter in tasks. You erode your sense of self. This explains why men without discipline carry a private shame, even alone. It's not tied to actions missed or taken. It's the dread of morphing into a shadow of who they could be. A splintered inner world is like a haunted house, full of unrest. Unless you weave back those lost elements, the creator, the defender, the mentor, the navigator, you'll chase fleeting inspirations that never stick. Because the reality is, you weren't designed to depend on bursts of motivation. You were meant to recall your truth, to awaken it, to move through life as someone who's declared, "This is me. This is my path. This is the structure I embody." Sure, it'll hurt. You'll stumble. But those slips won't label you anymore, because who you are shapes what you do, not the other way around. If you've stuck with me this far, I bet you're sensing it. A stirring, an ancient force rousing, not the flashy overachiever, but the timeless, wise, methodical presence that constructs without fanfare. And now, hear this with all your heart. You can't fully embrace discipline without pardoning yourself for the lost years. This isn't about self-flogging or dwelling on regrets. It's about growing up. The young, unsure man cries, "I'm damaged. Fix me." The wise one declares, "I'm complete. I just need to remember." So remember, there was never a flaw in you. You simply lost sight of your essence. Each choice for order over disarray, for focus over frenzy, for movement over delay, isn't forging a new identity. It's a reunion with the man your past self yearned for, the one your future self will honor with gratitude. Dr. Hayes saw the pinnacle of life not in accolades, but in becoming integrated, whole, authentic, merging those scattered fragments into a vibrant reality. Discipline paves that road. It's how you signal to your depths that you're secure, in command, that the leader has reclaimed his seat. So ponder this. How would your days unfold if you shifted from reacting to life's chaos to boldly proclaiming your truth? We're nearing the end of this path, my friend, touching on the essence of time, mortality, the ongoing struggle when you flee from structure, and the serene power that emerges when you act as if readiness is irrelevant, because you were born to guide, not follow. This goes beyond mere efficiency. It's about claiming your sovereignty. The ultimate change awaits. Time isn't a neutral stream. It builds upon itself. Every second you postpone your discipline adds to the framework of your existence, not merely as a chance slipped away, but as a stone in the wall of sorrow. You don't simply forfeit moments. You get molded by their absence. Dr. Hayes remarked, "You become what you enact, not what you pledge." Let that echo in your mind, not as a slap, but as the clearest reflection. You're already demonstrating your identity daily, no persuasion needed. Yet, so many drift unknowingly, awakening a decade on to find they've shaped a life they don't respect. A sculpture of postponements, doubts, and excuses masquerading as prudence. You weren't created idle. You were conditioned to doubt your innate force. Over the years, you've dulled your drive's sharp blade, smoothing it to avoid ruffling feathers, even your own. True discipline alters atmospheres. It's subtle, yet profound, and that presence can unsettle those still adrift. That's why you dimmed it, why you released your grip. You chose to linger with the slumbering crowd, fearing the isolation of awakening. But what if that isolation is a crucible? What if your alone time isn't exile, but a gateway to growth? Grasp this before it's too late. Each betrayal of your capabilities for comfort's sake is rehearsing oblivion, not the body's end, but the soul's slow dimming, the erosion of passion, the vanishing of drive, the subtle surrender of a spirit once fierce, now laden with justifications. Dr. Hayes didn't think meaning came from pursuing joy. He saw it in bold encounters, with turmoil, setbacks, suffering, facing them head on, arms wide. Discipline is your weapon in that arena. It doesn't banish fear. It arms you with purpose, a compass stronger than trepidation. Every person wields discipline in some form. The key is toward what? Some devote it to diversions, others to vices, many to inherited skepticisms they never challenged. But rare are those who channel it toward their unfolding. To join them, recognize that discipline isn't temporary toil. It's your bond with time itself. Each time you opt for instant gratification over lasting growth, you're disrespecting time's sanctity. And time, like a revered elder, mirrors that back. You feel perpetually behind, trapped, as if life's current pulls against you. But realign. Honor the gift of each day with intention, and transformation blooms. Not in grand external shifts at first, but in an inner flow. A sense of being supported by life's cadence, by meaning, by the tranquility of a life that's deliberate, a daily ceremony. At its peak, discipline evolves into ritual, not brute force, but a holy dance with the tomorrow you've vowed to craft. You rise not from obligation, but from the privilege of renewing your pledge. You exercise not to chastise, but to rediscover. You nourish yourself not for appearance, but because your form houses your unyielding spirit. All aligns, resonating with your core truth. Eventually, the ideal you once envisioned isn't a distant dream. It's the face greeting you in the mirror. Understand, this positive change won't unfold overnight or from a single realization. Discipline often develops through a process of reflecting on past habits that didn't serve your growth. This reflection involves letting go of earlier approaches where commitments were delayed or days felt unfulfilled. It's about releasing those patterns that no longer support your progress. You can gently transition from those old ways, acknowledging their role in your journey, but understanding it's time for a new phase. Release any past hesitations and redirect that energy into positive creation. Mornings filled with purpose, clarity, and positive action. Habits that provide stability, even when motivation wavers. A structure that empowers, not restricts. Order is a valuable tool, not an adversary. In a dynamic world, a composed, organized person stands out positively. Embrace this change. Begin now, not later, not after another hesitation. This very moment, this feeling of readiness, is your invitation to action. Let go of excuses. Stop waiting for an ideal moment. You are prepared. This is your moment to begin. A balanced approach involves integrating all aspects of yourself, even those you might have previously seen as less productive or challenging. Instead of avoiding them, you can learn to guide and work with them. When your inner self is harmonized, you will experience a profound sense of peace and inner strength. True discipline unfolds gently, not forcefully. It doesn't seek fanfare. It progresses consistently, like someone confidently pursuing their path. Renew your commitments. Not later. Now. In this moment. Once you embrace this, maintaining discipline will feel natural, not out of obligation, but from the deep satisfaction of living true to your intentions. Let's explore these concepts further. Recall a time in your childhood when you had abundant energy. Perhaps you enjoyed building structures with household items or planning imaginative activities in your outdoor space. This represents your innate creativity, a natural inclination to organize and bring ideas to life. However, there might have been instances where your endeavors were met with dismissal or amusement, causing that initial enthusiasm to lessen. Such experiences can introduce uncertainty, making personal structure feel like a burden rather than an integral aspect of your being. Consider a compassionate conversation with your younger self. You might say, "I acknowledge your efforts to create something meaningful. I apologize if circumstances led you to conceal your abilities. I am here now, and we will reawaken that creative spirit." Alternatively, envision a scenario in a public setting. You observe an interaction between two individuals. One shares an achievement, yet their tone suggests a lack of fulfillment, indicating that professional success came at the expense of personal well-being and connections. The other individual acknowledges this, but displays a mix of admiration and contentment, having prioritized a different path, but perhaps experiencing a sense of incompleteness. This situation can serve as a reflection on our own lives and inspire a commitment to harmonizing our internal aspects. Dr. Hayes's teachings highlight that personal journeys are both shared experiences and unique paths. Perhaps in your past, a challenge arose during your high school years when dedicating yourself to a sport led to an unexpected setback. This experience may have created doubt about future pursuits, making new aspirations feel daunting. However, consider a different perspective. What if this experience was an opportunity to cultivate inner strength and resilience, something you can embrace today? Let's explore a story to illustrate this. Imagine Alex, who aspired to write a novel. Despite his passion, his writing efforts didn't progress beyond a few pages. This hesitation stemmed from past feedback on his writing, which made him hesitant to face potential criticism again. One day, Alex decided to explore these feelings. He asked himself what was holding him back, and the answer involved apprehension about sharing his work and not feeling confident in his abilities. By acknowledging these feelings, Alex began a new routine, writing for a short period each day. Over time, this consistent practice became a natural part of his day, not a chore. He completed his book, and in doing so, he resolved past concerns. Stories like Alex's can resonate deeply, showing the fulfillment that comes from overcoming challenges. This transformation occurs when we view consistent effort not as a burden, but as an act of self-care and belief in our capabilities. Dr. Hayes would appreciate this perspective, as this inner harmony leads to both achievement and peace. Consider the passage of time in our lives. Picture time as a guide on a journey. If time is not used purposefully, it can feel like an uphill battle. However, by making intentional choices and engaging in consistent actions, time can support your progress, revealing opportunities along the way. Eventually, you find yourself moving forward with purpose, your life a collection of meaningful endeavors. Grief plays its part too. Oh, how it does. Picture burying that old, undisciplined self in a quiet ceremony under the stars. "Thank you for protecting me," you whisper, tears streaming, as you lay flowers on the metaphorical grave. It's cathartic, freeing energy for new beginnings. Mornings become sacred. Brewing coffee with intention, journaling thoughts that align your day. Even failures turn into lessons, not defeats, because your identity is solid now. In the chaos of modern life, endless notifications, pressures from every side, the disciplined man stands as a rock, unshakable. You become invaluable, not just to yourself, but to those around you. Friends seek your calm advice. Family feels your steady presence. It's emotional, this shift, from isolation to connection, from shame to pride. So as we wrap this tale, remember Dr. Hayes's wisdom. Wholeness is embracing all of you. Lead those chaotic parts with compassion, and peace follows. Return to your vow now, and feel the transformation. You've got this, friend. The shadow is calling you home.